Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to the garage. This is my 2022 Tesla Model Y long range. I've had this since August of 2022. I've got 10,500 miles on this, and I want to tell you what happened recently to me. So just a few days ago, I'm getting a warning light on the dash saying that one of the passenger rear tire is getting low on PSI. It was down to like 32. So I'm like, oh, that's odd. So we backed the car up slowly. I was able to check the tire, and I found there was a screw or a nail right in the middle of the tread. And so I'm like, all right, great. We got a puncture. We got to go get it fixed. As I was back there looking at the tire, I noticed just how little tread I have on these tires with only 10,500 miles on these tires. I take this over to my local discount tire. Big shout out to them because they do flat repairs for no cost. So I was able to get my tire fixed. But while I was over there, the guy looked at the tire and was like, yeah, these two rear tires have 4 seconds of tread left. He's like, that's in the replacement zone. He's like, you need to replace these rear tires. I'm like, what? That's crazy. The fronts have 6 seconds of tread left, so the fronts are wearing a little bit better than the rears. Now, one thing I was thinking about recently is I needed to rotate the tires. One downside to Teslas is because they're so fat, that they have so much torque, they are a heavy car for their size, they chew through tires like no other car. So yes, it's true Teslas virtually have no maintenance, but really tires are going to be your biggest ongoing regular expense on these cars. 10,000 miles, I haven't even had this car a year with 10,500 miles, and I'm looking at replacing these tires. That's another thing interesting with these cars is because you're not taking them in regularly. I'm not taking this into like a service center regularly to get things changed or like the oil changed or things like that. I meant to rotate the tires. I really did. I thought, okay, I'll rotate them at 10,000 miles because that seems to be like a common 10,000 mile interval is a good rotational schedule. However, I let these go a little too long, and I have 10,500 miles on them. And now I've waited too long to the point where the rears basically need to be replaced. The fronts are still okay, but I'm not going to just replace the rear ones. They're going to be uneven, so I'm probably going to have to replace all 4 tires coming up here real soon. And so what I should have done is I should have replaced the tire, or I should have rotated the tires around 5,000 miles. So taking like the fronts off, put them in, rotating them in a cross pattern, front right, rear left, vice versa, and just swapping them that way, and then front to back. If I would have rotated them that way at 5,000 miles, I would have been on the second rotation already, and they probably all would be about 30 seconds of tread life left, and that probably would have gotten me another, maybe 5,000 miles or so on these. Now at 10,500 miles, I'm now looking at replacing these. So coming to the channel real soon is going to be a full tire replacement on the Model Y. The tires that are on there are these Goodyear Tires. I don't know what model they are. They're 255 40/20. That's also maybe another downside of these 20-inch wheels is with the lower profile tires, they're not going to wear as good. So I'm looking back, I probably should have just went with the 19-inch wheel because these 20s are really chewing through tires, and a low profile tire doesn't last as long as a more standard size. The 19s are have a little more thicker sidewall, probably have a little more tread, and would probably do a little bit better tread life wise. Well, here in the dash of the Model Y, if we go to service, so we go to the car, then we go to the service screen, it's going to show us the PSIs. This was the one that I was getting a warning light on. But Tesla does provide, I just learned this as I was researching these tires and what to do and getting this fixed, is there is a tire service reset indicator here. So it says, if you go to the information here, this just says that Tesla recommends every 60 to 50 miles, so about every 5,000 miles, just over that, to rotate the tires. And what you can do is you can just hit this reset button here, and it'll reset when you rotate them. So you'll have a kind of a counter. It kind of counts when you've rotated the tires, so it's going to help keep track of those intervals. So this would have been helpful. I wish I would have paid a little more attention to the rotational interval. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking at replacing the tires right now. So a couple recommendations, guys. Rotate your wheels and rotate your tires at 5,000 miles to really get the maximum life out of these. That is, if you have the Model Y Performance, they have a staggered set, so you can really only go from side to side. You can't go front to back because the rears are a wider tire, a little wider rim than the front. So if that's the case, rotating them is not going to help a whole lot. But with the Model Y, the long range, whether you have the 20-inch wheels or the 19s, those are a square setup, meaning they're the same size, front and rear, and so you can swap them front and rear, and that's no problem. If you can rotate them every 5,000 miles, that's going to help a whole lot. I would also say don't go with the 20-inch wheels. Even though they look really good, I would say don't go with the 20-inch wheel. Go with the 19s. You can actually take those hubcaps off, and it has a decent looking wheel underneath. You can get those powder coated for, you know, like in my area, I can get a wheel powder coated for like $100 a wheel, and like a black, you can make them black, and it look pretty good, and it's going to save you on tires. So if you're driving a ton, if you're driving a lot, you're going to chew through tires. So the cheaper tire that you can get, the more affordable size that you can get, is really going to help budget-wise when it comes to replacing tires. I'm also not going to replace it with the same tire. These Goodyear tires, I was looking online, and they're like $350 a tire. So I mean, it'd be like $1,400 to replace all 4 of these tires. I am not going to pay that. Previously, a few months ago, I replaced the tires on my Tesla Model S. I have the 20-inch wheels on my Model S. I replaced them with some really cheap tires, and they've been great. So coming soon to the channel, guys, is going to be a video on some very good but cheap replacement tires for the Model Y, and I'll give you kind of a review of how they work. But anyways, guys, I want to pass this information along because I'm super shocked and surprised that these tires are only lasting me 10,000 miles. I'll probably run them for another 500, you know, around 11,000 miles. But I'm starting to shop right now. I'm going to shop for tires right now and really try to find a good deal, because if I'm going to have to replace these every 10,000 miles, I'm only going to pay $500 or less for all 4 tires. And I'm going to show you guys some ways to find some tires like that. Anyways, be sure to hit that thumbs up. I'm curious about if you guys have had what kind of experience, what kind of mileage you're getting out of your tires. If this is common, if this is rare, if this is low, high, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, stick around for the next video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.